NZ Aerosports, Icarus Canopies, now Gyro. That's right, we've rebranded, and Gyro is our next generation. It honours our founder, as that's the name we knew him by, but Gyro also marks the start of a new chapter. And not to be biased, but it's going to be fucking epic. Long story short, we're more us than ever, so if you're new to the sport, or even a Sky God Ninja Turtle, welcome. I think our valiant leader Lucy, Gyro's daughter, says it best.
And we still got that fuck yeah attitude. Rebrand! Woo!
Rebrand woo indeed, Lucy. Anyway, head over to gyro.com for more info and get amongst your legends.
I was 19, broke, unemployed, and sold my girlfriend's canopy for drug money. So I thought I better sew her a new one. What a sentence, and what a story. This describes the humble yet outrageous beginnings of NZ Aerosports, the home of Icarus Canopies, in the words of our founder himself. From getting a paratrooper toy from his mom, watching parachutes at the DZ as a 6-year-old, jumping off the wharf with a parachute made from bed sheets, doing his first jump at 16, sewing his first canopy on a borrowed machine at 19, and starting to sell parachutes out of a garage in 1986, Paul Gyro Martin had an undying love for the sky. Our company started with one man with the wildest of spirits and a true blue sky dream, a renegade. In the time that Gyro created and ran the Icarus Canopies brand until he passed away in 2017, he pushed everything he had to its limits. We miss him, and we always will. Gyro is the next generation of NZ Aerosports. It honors our founder, of course, because it was the name we all knew him by, but Gyro the rebrand also marks the start of a new chapter, our next jump. Gyro is the space between sound and silence, art and science, chaos and calm. Gyro is a state of epic tranquility that transcends understanding. That moment, in the door, in free fall, mid-swoop, where nothing but the present exists. A perfect balance of euphoria and thrill. Gyro captures our passion for flying and our commitment to designing break-the-fucking-rules canopies that deliver pilots pure, wild flight.
Coming straight from the cockpit, it's another episode of Lunatic Fringe with the fucking pilot.
Ready, set, go. Back in the can for another edition of the Lunatic Fringe podcast, and a smiling face and a hell of an adventure coming up for our next guest. Please tell me, who the fuck are you and what do you do?
I'm Captain fucking Manicorn. That's what I do, and I do rad shit. I don't know what else to say. If you know who I am, you know what I do. But thank you for having me on.
Yeah, man. Captain Manicorn.
Manicorn.
Where did Captain Manicorn come from, by the way, before we get too deep?
All right, so there was, I think originally, it was like unicorn, mystical creatures. There was probably a bunch of LSD involved, and I imagine back then some good drugs. And it was like this Manicorn, like when you Googled it, it was like this dude, this 8-pack, like super buff, and he had this unicorn on. It was like a Manicorn, and I was like, that's a great name. Like, I wonder if we could run with that and have some fun with it. So we did. It was like it was just for fun, a sploof. And then one day I dyed my hair rainbow. I was like the fun director for this color run company. And I dyed my hair all these rainbow colors. Originally, Sandra, who was it? I looked like the guy from the Harry Potter, the white hair. Like this chick fucked up my hair. So she dyes it rainbow. I go to Puerto Rico for one of the boogies. And I jump in the water and I come out, my head's fucking green. So I go back, obviously, and I go back to riding with my dad. We ride Harleys and, and all this. We're part of a club, Moral Free. And we're going on this bike run, and my dad's like, you should be Captain fucking Manicorn. I'm like, what, Dad? I was like, I know you're drunk, but what the fuck are you talking about, homie? He's like, yeah, Captain Manicorn. That's your name. And I'm like, all right, Captain fucking Manicorn. So, so when people are like Manicorn, I essentially just say, like, It's like a unicorn, but with a dick. A mystical creature, rarely seen in public, does fucking rad shit. That's all you need to know. That's
Nice.
what Captain Manicorn is. Yeah. Okay.
I dig that came from your dad of all people.
Yeah. He's a lunatic.
That's fucking great. That's great.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
as I always do with the podcast, I jump people back to how they got started, not necessarily in skydiving or base jumping, but anything extreme. Like, what was your start into stuff like that?
Well, let's define. Let's start this podcast off by defining extreme.
Well, from my definition, anything that the general public, and that's a tough one to nail down, but the general public thinks is a little bit farther than their normal comfort zone. So for some people, that's even something along the lines of surfing and snowboarding. But for our purposes, let's say anything that you would equate to being equal to jumping out of a plane.
Yeah, so I got my first dirt bike. It was a YZ big wheel 80 at 4 years old.
Oh wow!
Broke my first bone at like 6. My dad was rad, like I said, come from a biker background and building hot rods in the 80s. I'm 41, so my dad's an 80s child. He was like 18 when they had me. So what do you do when you're 18? You have a kid. You do what you want still, but you make your kid do this shit too, right? So dad's like, he's on an old 500, things that used to break your leg because you had to like the kickstart, kind of thing. And that's how it all started with dirt bikes. And I guess if I look back, I used to sing, right? I don't think I've ever talked about this before. So when I used to ride a dirt bike, I used to sing to myself while I was riding.
Nice.
And it didn't matter what kind of fucked up shit was happening in my life, right? Like I would get on this dirt bike and I would just start singing while I'm hitting jumps and all of that. So I think it progressed, and then we fast forward to a bunch of bullshit, group homes, abuse, alcohol, all that good stuff. I was about 17 and I had got kicked out of one of the group homes, and I was getting on the verge of getting expelled from Cleveland High School. And my aunt or cousin, she introduced me to this thing called Venture Crew. And they were basically a bunch of rich kids, like super, like different than me, man. I'm a street kid, first off. So
Sure.
I'll always be a street kid. I am a street kid. These guys were like, proper. They had, good language. They dressed nice. They all drove nice cars to these meetings. And my cousin, Vicky, got me into this. She's dead now. But she got me into this. And this guy, David, who was a corporate lawyer, and Deborah, and they had a daughter, Danica. They took me out one day to this place called Stony Point, which is in Chatsworth. I'm from SFV, San Fernando Valley, right? I'm a Valley boy. And he makes me go to a sport chalet back then to get a pair of rock climbing shoes. And he takes me to this rock, and it's like 50 feet tall. And he clips me in. He's like, all right, climb it. And I just like looked at him like, what do you mean climb this shit, homie? Like, what do you know what I mean? Like, we're doing LSD at school on the weekends. It's all about banging chicks and doing drugs. And like, I'm fucking failing every class. I've been expelled from every school I've been in. And all of a sudden I'm standing there with this guy, and he's like tied me into this. I don't know what he tied back then. I don't know what's going on. He's like, I got these weird shoes. Look like a clown. Look like an idiot back then, right? Because no one climbed back then. You got to remember, this is before climbing gyms, before like climbing was a big deal.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's like, you want me to climb that? He goes, yeah. So if you climb, I'll catch you. You're on belay. I'm like, okay. So I sent that shit. And like instantly, as soon as I had hands touch this rock, my life changed. That was like a before and after moment for me. And I got back. I was luckily in California back then. And so I had 2 lives. I had this life where I was around older climbers, because most of them were all older, because it was, you had to have money to go climbing. And, it wasn't a cheap sport back then. It was like, I don't know how you explain it. Like, it was like 2 lives. I had the kids at school that I would hang out with, but then I just wanted to climb every day. So then I would go, right? So I had these group of friends of climbers who were athletes, and they would take me out on the weekends, and they would put me through the ringer. They'd test my courage, right? They'd humble me, all kinds of stuff. They'd show me bonfires and like what that kind of community was like.
Sure.
So that was my first extreme sports community, was climbing back then. It wasn't the same climbing it is now. There was no gyms. There was no climbing gyms. There was none of that shit. It was fucking big wall climbers. It was people that living in the dirt, right? So fast forward, climbed for years, did a bunch of cool shit. And then I got arrested, obviously went to prison for 4 years, all kinds of rowdy shit I did. I wanted to be a gangster. So I went around and played gangster for a couple years, got arrested, did 4 years, 3 years on parole. And when I had got out of prison, and by the way, like I don't think like people get into extreme sports. Like it's not something. It's like being gay almost. Like right. Like it's not a choice, homie. Right. Like
Yeah.
you don't wake up and like, oh well, I wonder if I can suck a dick today. That's not what it's like. Like you wake up, you know you're gay. That's fine. No problems. Like you don't wake up and you're like, oh, I want to go do something extreme. Like you look at something and you're like, yeah, that's fucking happening. And you break shit, right? Like in the beginning, you're testing it, like before parkour was parkour, we were just climbing trees, jumping off buildings with umbrellas on the fucking mattresses, right? Like, so it's not something that I didn't watch a YouTube video and become an extreme sports athlete.
Right,
like I was, I you know what I mean? Like this shit I'm bred to do it.
Sure.
So, like I said, fast forward, get out of prison. So I had this like two lives going again. Like, so I was lying to the parole. I was supposed to be working and have a job, but I worked for my uncle at the time. And so what I basically did was he signed me up for mixed martial arts. Before that, I did boxing. I was a good boxer and all that. And I love fighting. So that goes with weird combination, right? So when I got out, I spent about 2 years doing mixed martial arts. And I basically trained 8 to 10 hours a day. I did 3.5 hours in the morning and 3 hours in the afternoon. The parole would call. They'd ask my uncle if I was working. He'd fucking lie. And basically what this was saving my life. I wasn't going to work. I wasn't going to go get a job. I wasn't going to do these things. I had too much anger. I had too much hostility. And I still was mad at myself. And I wanted to hurt other people to make myself feel better.
Sure.
Does that make sense? Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I fought a bunch of fights. I did really well. And then I was I was just sore. Like I was tearing rotator cuffs. I was just fucking sore all the time. Best physical shape of my life. And, like part of our course was like getting hit a lot and training and just exhausted. And I'm, ironically, I had to bring my dad back into this. My dad's my best friend. So my father was a correctional officer. He's a lieutenant in Ironwood State Prison for 25 years.
Holy shit.
So imagine, so this plot takes another fucking twist, right?
Fucking
so my dad, So dad goes from like getting into Hell's Angels and hot rods and fucking PCP to having me to, moving to Sacramento, to like becoming a correctional officer, to going straight laced, becoming a fucking asshole. All his friends are assholes. I'm always fighting his friends, right? Because, what I mean? Like you could take the hoe out. I don't know that expression. What is it? You take I don't remember. It doesn't matter. You couldn't take the street kid out of me. I was a fucking little thug. So my dad's, they're all straight laced or tough guys. So it was hard for me. And then basically I grew up in this small town called Blythe, California, population 20,000 people. Yeah. You know it? Well, guess what? 10,000 of those motherfuckers are inmates, families, right? I'm just fucking boxing left and right. Like this is like the get down, like, oh, your dad's a correctional officer. So my whole life was just boxing, like, cause they're mad because their dad's in jail. I'm some white kid. And this is just how it gets down. And this is, this is also the way in San Fernando Valley. So it doesn't matter. I'm used to this shit. So I got to take all this fucking anger with me. So now my dad, I talk to him every day. Like he's the only motherfucker I understood. Like because he saw evil. He's been down for 25 years. Like if you do the math, he did about 12 years, 13 years straight himself with all the overtimes and all that bullshit. So me and my dad are basically, and he's like, you just train. He goes, I don't care if you win, lose. It's not about that for you. You just need to exert this energy you have.
Sure.
So obviously fighting is not sustainable. UFC wasn't a thing yet. This was still boxing and, whatever. It was still underground boxing and shit. One day I had saw this movie Cliffhanger. Remember with Sylvester Stallone?
Oh yeah, man.
So remember that. Okay. So I like rock climbing. Remember? So I like Sylvester Stallone, right? So all of a sudden I see this fucking dude jump off a fucking mountain. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Right. And I'm like, what is that? So, but this is as a kid, right? So now it's all coming together. So now skydiving, it's starting to make sense. So I saw that when I was like probably 14. So I booked myself a tandem, like just by myself, no friends, no family shows up with me. I just book a tandem. I'm like, I gotta go see this skydiving thing. So all I'm doing at the time is MMA. And then and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go skydive. I do a
Where'd
tandem.
you make your jump?
In Ventura.
Okay.
At 182. I'm like, what the fuck? This is amazing. I take my brother on his 18th birthday. I make my dad pay for his jump. I'm like, all right, we're gonna go do another tandem. So I go out and do a tandem, and we land. Okay, it's like I think it was just part of like I watched my brother's face. He's a cocky kid too. His name's Cody. I love him, smart genius, and he's cocky. We're bullshitting the whole way up, and I remember he's sitting next to the door, and I remember I'm smiling like, yeah, motherfucker. And all of a sudden, the TI, he opens up the door. We're at like probably back then probably 10.5 or something like that. You know, they probably told you full altitude, but it was a fucking tandem factory, so they probably were probably at 10. I don't even know what we were jumping at.
Sure.
So he opened, yeah, right, real shit. So he opens up the door, and like I see my brother look left out the door, and I see his face just go fucking white, and I was like, yeah, motherfucker, this shit's real. So like he got, he does, grabs his forehead, pulls it back, and I'm watching my brother's eyes just light up, and I'm like, that's cool. It's not just me. Like, this shit is cool.
Yeah, man.
So we land. Yeah, so it's cool. So we land, and we're like going to talk to the guys, and we're like, hey, we want to get our licenses. And they're like, well, we don't do that. We're a tandem factory. I was like, I don't know what you're saying right now. You're just saying words to us. How do we do this? We want to do it ourselves. And they're just saying random shit. So we're like, okay, we're going to figure it out. So we end up, now we're still poor. So we end up going to Paris. We don't know it's Paris. We don't know. It's just, for us, it's our backyard. We don't know it's Paris.
Paris,
okay?
yeah.
So yeah, Paris. We don't know this shit. So, so I show up, and I got this guy. He's kind of weird looking, and his name was like Matt Blank, right? He's my mentor. I love Matt. I fucking love this guy, but I didn't know all this at the time. All right. So we're playing two scenarios at one. So Matt's like, all right, Jamie. So why are you guys here? And of course I'm like, I want a fucking wingsuit base jump, right?
You're one of those motherfuckers.
Yeah, but I didn't watch YouTube videos. I just knew I was gonna fly a fucking wingsuit. Like
nice.
I don't watch social networks back then. I didn't have that. What did we have back then? It wasn't even Facebook. It was MySpace and shit. Yeah, right. So there's no fucking YouTube videos. Like, there wasn't the Scotty Bobs and all these Matts and all these guys to watch. It was fucking MySpace. But you saw these guys wingsuiting. I want to do that. So, but Matt's super patient, and he always has been patient with me. He's like, all right, we can get you there, but before we jump off of cliffs with a wingsuit, let's get an AFF, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. So it was actually really weird. So it was our first experience at Paris. Me and my brother went through the whole thing. It was just us in the whole class. It was really cool, and we got winded out. So there was a big difference was I came back the next week. My brother went back to Blythe, and we had a separation. So I was poor. So every month I would have to play the game. I would jump at like the last day before my reoccurrence, or like your currency jump. Because if you didn't get after 30 days, you have to go back and sit through that fucking class again and do all that bullshit. I didn't have the money to do that. So I saved up all month, and I would do the one jump. I did this for like 3 months. And then I got this opportunity to move to Texas. So we did. And we went to Skydive Dallas. Epic fucking drop zone. Great group of people. This was before it was Skydive Spaceland Dallas. This was when it was just Skydive Dallas, and it was a true drop zone. There, people living in the trailers in the back, and there was community after every day of jumping. We're getting fucked up, and it's just it was a real drop zone. Not it wasn't a tandem factory. There was a fun jump community, and it was really cool. So of course I failed. Like he gave me some Sandra. What was that? He gave me a signal. He put his fingers up. I don't know what he did. I had never seen that signal before in my life. And I'm just nodding. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know what you're saying to me right now, man. So they failed me for my AFF like 4 or something like that. I figured out what it was. It was, I don't remember what it was. I still don't remember. But anyways, so they had a tunnel back then. So he's like, look, go to the tunnel, work on some shit, and come back. So it wasn't easy for me. Like, I'm such a fucking spaz. Like in the beginning, I just loved jumping out of the airplane. But then, like back then, you get into a tunnel, you learn to sit fly, and you can throw money at it. And so then it progressed quickly.
Sure.
I think on my, so what happened was we were throwing color runs. And at the same time, we made our first money. Sandra worked for me. So my brother moved to Texas. This girl Waffles moved to Texas. We literally had an offer. He's like, if you want this job to be the director, you need to be here next week. So we had to bail on our fucking lease. I had to borrow $1,000 from my mom. We all loaded up our shit on U-Haul trucks, and we just fucking drove from Los Angeles to essentially Dallas, Texas. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Texas. Anyways, another story. So essentially like that, we went all in on it. And for like the first couple of months going to Skydive Spaceland, I couldn't pull it off. Like every month I just had to save up. And then we made a bunch of money. I bought a new rig. I paid for the rest of my AFF, and I was fucking fully invested into this shit.
Yep.
And that was it. Like that was the beginning of it, right? Because so now we got a tour bus. I've been to like 70 drop zones in America. It was better for us because we're throwing events in every state. So we ended up owning this company. So what we did is like poor kids we would say we want to go to Alaska. We can't afford to go to Alaska. So what we would do is throw an event in Alaska. So then my whole crew would show up to Alaska and we would go skydive there and rage. So when I got into skydiving, I had a bit of an issue with politics. Like my biggest issue with skydiving is the community. I love the skydivers by themselves, but as a community, I can't fucking stand them. So when we showed up, I had a crew, like a solid crew. Like we were already gangsters. So my whole crew was showing up to this drop zone. So when like we instantly got along with the riggers, the packers, the pilots, but I did not get along with the fucking fun jumpers. They were a different breed than I was. They had money or whatever it was, or they wanted me to earn whatever. I don't know what it was, but for like the first 2 years of the sport, I only hung out with riggers, packers, pilots, and the people that worked in the sport because I could relate to them. And most of the best in the world started off as these people anyways, right? Worked their way through the sport. Not now. Now we have tunnels. It's a different game. It's a different sport. Sure. I get that. But back then, camera boys, right? Like you would go from packing to jumping to flying camera to fucking doing tandems and to AFFs. And that's, between getting rid of the student to landing is your time that you get to practice. And that's why we have some of the best canopy pilots, right? That's how they all came about. So we just terrorized as a crew and we had a great experience. And I think that moving the story along 70 drop zones later, that's why I probably don't skydive as much as I did, because eventually I couldn't stand the communities anymore. It was like we were doing drugs, we were partying, I was blowing shit up. Sure. All of these things are true. Whatever. I mean, it's not like I fucking stopped being a criminal, for God's sakes. I mean, I didn't go to prison for fucking being a Mormon. So it's fuck, so eventually we just had to get out of the game because it was detrimental to our business, to what we were trying to do, and it wasn't healthy for us. And let's be honest, like there's nothing easier than going to boogies and doing drugs. It's just They go together like fucking peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So I got into wingsuit base jumping finally, moved that along a little bit. Like doing gainers for my first jumps and shit like that. I was kind of reckless to say the least. And my wife finally showed up to VECO, which is Voss. If people don't know what that is, it's the mecca of extreme sports. Like there's no better place in the world than Norway. And they have this boogie once a year called VECO. It's Extreme Sports Week. And it's actually like the circuit. You start off in like Shirog, jumping off cliffs, and you make your way up through Norway. And everybody there is like-minded. You have, kayakers, rock climbers, downhillers. So for me being it sounds terrible, like a polyathlete coming from mountain bike racing, motocross racing, all these different things, like getting to Norway and seeing like that there's a place for people like me, I obviously fell in love with it. And then that was also 2016. There was 22 deaths that year, and there were some of the best in the world that died.
That was a rough fucking year.
Rough fucking year. And of course, I'm with like Mike, with legends there, and all of a sudden everybody's just dying, and I'm like, fuck, these guys are talented, not my kind of talent. Like I'm a good athlete and I really have to work hard at it, and I commit, but these guys like put the work in. We're talking about, like fucking great minds, great artists, great athletes, and they're just fucking dying left and right.
Yeah, so man.
Yeah, real shit, right?
Yeah, man. So, I mean, Micah's hit hard for a lot of fucking people. And Micah's one of the guys you're talking about that was just a rare fucking talent. That guy just had talent oozing out of every goddamn pore. And on top of everything, he was a fucking sweetheart.
Yeah.
He was just an amazing dude, man. I mean, you know.
I do know Micah.
Yeah.
So, right. So it took this toll on me because it was like, I think it might have been the first time in my life that I scared myself, because let's be honest, like I'm with these guys, I'm nobody, I'm nothing. I'm a fucking, I maybe had 20 base jumps before I did a gainer off a cliff with a wingsuit. Right. And I sent in this shit. Okay. Right. But I'm crushing it. I'm doing 6 ways, 7 ways. The ability was there, but I didn't know, I mean, at this point I had maybe 1,500 wingsuit jumps. So I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't understand wingsuiting. I didn't understand performance flying. I didn't understand these different things. I was a stuntman, right? So I was an acro. I grew up at Zephyr Hills with Travis Mickle, the kid, Wes, all these guys, and we're acro kids, right? We're flying Tony suits and we're fucking doing acro. We're flying slow as fuck, and we're just acro kids having a good time and partying. Okay,
sure.
So now all of a sudden I'm flying the R-Bird, and everybody's fast, and that's fine. I'm fast too. I luckily knew a Norwegian Kino who taught me about flying fast. So I didn't show up flying slow. I showed up flying fast. But all of a sudden I had line twist. Okay, well, hold on. So I jumped off a mountain naked with a wingsuit, wearing a unicorn hat, doing XR, trying to do a 3-way with a hang glider and Kyle Laprice. Yeah, that shit was cool. So we, yeah. So Wolfie, he's a fucking like world-class hang glider. And me and Kyle, it's Vecco. So it's like, hey, so we've got a happy face and a sad face sock on our cocks. So we're butt naked, and we're, imagine all these Chinese tour buses, and we're just fucking two white boys standing out in the middle of fucking Norway like Vikings, shaking our dicks and stuff like that as tour bus. And we're jumping on a helicopter. We're showing up. It's fucking cold up there. Let's get real. Yeah. And there's this dude with this fucking long, weird thing up top. And I'm like, oh, that's a hang glider. That's cool, I guess. I'm like, hey, dude, you want to jump off this fucking mountain together, man? He like looks at me. He's like, yeah, I do. I'm like, cool, man. Let's do it. I'm like, Kyle, let's jump off with this fucking hang glider. Let's jump off this cliff, dude. He's like, yeah, okay. So now you've got two wing sitters and a fucking hang glider standing on the cliff edge. Like, we have no idea what's about to happen. I was like, I'm about to die. Like, this motherfucker is going to plow me into the cliff. So we sent it, whatever. And I'm wearing this fucking unicorn hat, like this fluffy. I've got this thing tied around my neck, so it's like covering my eyes a little bit. And I'm fucking jump off this cliff, and it's great. Well, it worked out well. And next thing I know, I've got like fucking line twist. And I pulled so dirty fucking low. You can hear Micah and Felix and all these guys at the bottom. Yeah, Jamie, like I can hear motherfuckers yelling at me, right? And this is the first jump that my wife ever saw.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Yeah, man. So my wife's like in the spectator area, and you've got Micah and everybody, and everybody's just fucking screaming at me, and I'm fucking a deep in line twist. So I'm like aiming at the earth and line twist, and luckily I literally got out of it, like kicked myself out of it, saved myself, fucking pop toggles, flare, landed on this fucking road, and yeah, it was crazy. It changed my life. There was a lot of weird things that happened in Norway that changed my life. That trip in 2016, that was the catapult to make me who I am today. I felt more at home in Norway than I did in America. Like, I got along more with these guys, even though we got in a huge fight and like broke each other's noses. There's blood everywhere. Like, I was outcasted by the Americans. Like, you can't act like that. But it was the Norwegians who took me in.
Right.
And it was like this weird thing that happened in my life. And I was like, holy fuck, I feel at home here. Like, this is what it's supposed to be like. This is what it's supposed to feel like, to be around other like-minded people. That I'm not right in the head. I'm fucked in the head, guys. And Norwegians are too. I hate to tell you, they're fucked in the head, man. They have a great perspective on life, and I love it, right? Because they're fucking Vikings. They're warriors.
Sure.
I'm a warrior. So all of a sudden I felt at home, and my wife, it just fucked everything up though. This line twist, her almost watching me die.
Right.
And it was a weird turning point between everybody else dying, and my wife's like, I can't deal with this. And I'm like, fair enough. I was like, so like, I saw this video of Jamie Lee, right? Speed flying back then. So I'm like, okay, well, if I'm not going to wingsuit base jump as much, I'm going to do this. And she had no idea what she was looking at. She had never paraglided or speed flown. And I'm watching Jamie Lee's like proximity fly, probably on a 6.5 meter wing. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to do this, babe. And she's like, okay, no problem. That's much better. But actually it was. I got away from the drop zones. Yeah, I got away from, obviously I was on a 6 meter. I started off on a 13. And I got away from the drop zones, and I was 234 pounds at the time. So I was this little fat kid. It was fucking crazy because in Texas, there's no mountains. So I was just eating and I was gaining weight in skydiving because, I mean, come on, it's fat kids can skydive. It's a fat kid sport too, right?
Right.
Yeah, no, really though, right? Like there's not much effort to it, like
for sure.
You could be a lazy skydiver. Okay. So all of a sudden now I'm hiking. And things are getting quiet in my head, and I'm starting to understand things. My wife wanted to learn to paraglide, so paragliding came about, and then paramotoring. And then, years went by. We got back into it. I was still base jumping every year. I'd jump a couple times, but as stunts, like just to do it.
Sure.
And then something happened where in 2019 we had left America. I actually lied to everybody. I said I'd be gone for a month, and I went back to Norway. And it was Vecco, and I was actually part of Team One Call. So I wasn't only on Team One Call, I was also part of Team One Call for wingsuiting And I was part of team one called for speed flying.
Nice.
Like, talk about dream come true, right? So I'm hanging out. I'm getting to perform and do stunts with the best in the world
Sure.
in two different disciplines. And again, in Norway, of all places, I felt at home. So I actually called my wife and I was like, look, we had a business, a ranch. I had a nonprofit. Everything was going. But I was like, I was overweight. I was just unhappy. I was like, I'm not coming home. I would like to stay here. I want you to come out here. And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And how the fuck
Right.
are we going to make money? And I'm like, look, and because of my background, because of the group homes, because of the 20 different schools, because of the fucking prison, because of all these things, the one gift that I've had is to be able to hit the reset button. If
Okay.
I don't like the way something's going,
Sure.
I hit that button. I just fucking hit the button. And there's casualties to that usually, right? Like, that's part of it, like another story for another day. There's usually casualties when I hit the reset button, but
Sure.
It doesn't matter because there's no good time to follow your dreams. There's never going to be the right time to follow your dream.
Sure.
So, right. It makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Yeah. So she agreed to it. I was like, look, I'm not gonna get off the phone with you because she's my best friend. It has to make sense to her. Like, I have to have her with me.
Sure.
She's the rock, right? Like, I'm fucking Tasmanian devil, and she's just like the calm. That's the balance to my whole life. So she's like, fine. She grabs our dog. She jumps on the plane. She shuts down the company, and she gets on a plane.
Right.
COVID. I'm gonna fast forward all this shit. COVID hits. I go to Thailand, and at the time I knew that I wanted to make videos. I knew that I enjoyed telling the story of sports, but
Right.
not just like a YouTube video from like exit to end of the exit. Like, there's so much more to what we do. There's a whole world.
Sure.
And I wanted to share that, but I didn't know how at the time. So I went to Thailand for 6 weeks. I was doing a science experiment. I wanted to see if happy endings were the same from ladyboys versus females. No, I'm just joking. But it's Thailand. Whatever happens in Thailand stays in Thailand, right, guys? So I'm getting a nod from my wife. She's giving me the devil look. But actually, yeah, I don't give a fuck. At the time, it's in the name of science, guys. It's in the name of science. I'm open-minded. So I'm on this trip, and I went by myself. I didn't bring any sports gear with me. I went for 6 weeks on my own. I drove. I went everywhere. I just wanted to see if I could get along with normal people again. Like, I'd been around sports people, egotistic, like drive and crazy and death and all this shit for so many years now.
Sure.
I wanted to put all that away and just see, like, think. I wanted, like, what am I going to do with my future? What do I want to do with my life?
Sure.
So 6 weeks, it took me walking around, and I would talk to Sandra every day. And I talked through with what I'm working on. She actually was trying to start this. It was like Manicorn fucking merchandise or something terrible. Affiliate marketing program, because she's a great marketer, obviously. And I'm like, look, that is terrible. I got back, and I'm like, look, we had talked about Captain Manicorn this whole time. I'm like, look, if we're going to do something, we should do it together, and we should give it everything we have. Because
Sure.
if we're going to, quit that old life, then we should work to. You can't do what you want, because I think I had come home definitively knowing what I wanted to do. My mind was set that I was going to run Captain Manicorn. I wanted to do sports, and I was going to try to become a professional athlete, and it was my
Sure.
dream. And that was what I wanted to do. And so she's like, no, I'm in. Let's do it. Let's figure it out. And so we spent the last, like the next months trying to figure out. And she had this hard time with it, though. She was like, it's gay. We can't just be a fucking another sports channel, fucking YouTube, some
Right.
dick fucking wingsuiting. Like, that's fucking terrible. And she's like, it has no purpose. Like, I don't want it to do this. So she comes out one morning and she goes, what did you say? You said, I have a bomb. I'm like, look, woman, I haven't even had a cup of coffee yet. Chill out. All right. Look, relax. And she's like, no, I have a bomb. I'm like, what do you got? She goes, we're going to set a world record to do air sports in every country of the world. I just looked at her and I said, you're full of shit. Right. Because she was fucking terrified of like going to Africa. She was so scared to go to some of these countries in the beginning. She's some white girl from fucking Thousand Oaks. And I'm like, let's go to Zimbabwe. And there's like motherfuckers dying and getting hung and tortured and fucking kidnapped over there. And she's like, absolutely not. And all of a sudden she comes out to me, and I've been trying to get to like these remote places for a while. And she comes out and she's like, we're going everywhere. I'm like, you don't want to go everywhere, woman. I said, you're crazy. And she's like, no, this is what we need to do. This will give us purpose. This will be the thing. I'm like, and in my head, I'm like, selfish as a motherfucker. I'm like, wait a minute. So you want to dedicate all of your energy to us traveling the world doing air sports in every country of the world. This is what you want to do. And
Right.
I tried to do that reverse psychology shit on him. Like, no, you don't want to do this. No, you don't. You don't want to do this. This is a bad idea.
Right.
And no, yeah, it worked. So she's like, no, I'm in.
That's awesome.
So I had to take it to, yeah, right. So I had to take it to another level though, because it's not just airs. We had to find definitions. We had to talk to like Guinness Book of World Record, like all this shit we tried to figure out. So essentially, I would like to do wingsuiting, base jumping, paragliding, speed flying, paramotoring, skydiving in every country of the world.
Jesus.
Right. So if you, yeah, right. No, I'm Jamie. But listen, so if you break that down, that is essentially a different community, right? So yeah, there are some athletes that cross over to paragliding or skydiving to base jumping or whatever it is. But essentially what happened was this metamorphosis. What is that word?
Metamorphosis. Yeah.
Yeah, metamorphosis. So what happened is that we would show up to these countries and I would have to like spend weeks trying to get into forums or Facebooks or, paragliding forums. Like, hey, I'm fucking Jamie. I'm coming to your country. I would love to do rad shit. I don't know anybody there. I don't know any of your politics rules or any of this. Will somebody please throw me a lifeline? And slowly in the beginning, it was hard.
Sure.
Right? Like, I fucking hours in reaching out to people and emails. And like, I'm a stalker when it comes to like, if I want to do sports somewhere, like even right now in Chamonix, like I'm that creeper, like posting on the fucking Facebook groups, like, hey, I'm by myself. I'd love to hike with people. The French don't fucking like, anybody. So it's hard over here, but right. But so I'm doing this in these countries, because I'm not a shy guy. So I'm just reaching out and that's how it all started. So
Sure.
what happened was we would show up and I would meet the skydivers are easy. So they're the easiest ones because you can just show up to a drop zone. And at first you're like, they all look at you like you're fucking retarded. And then they're like talking to you and then you do some rad shit and they're like, oh, I've seen you before. I know who you are. I'm like, cool. So essentially we started this, this world record. Like she's like, let's start this world record. And that's what we told the world. And it took like a couple of years of people like, didn't believe that we weren't coming back to America. So everybody's like, that's great. Like they almost felt like patronizing me, like tapping on me on the head. Like I was a little fucking kid. Like, I'm like, I'm going to go to every country of the world and go do rad shit. And they're like, that's nice. When are you coming home back to this real life and, getting a job and throwing events again? And then nobody obviously says that anymore because it's been, almost 5 years now. But so we've just been, man, it's been fucking crazy. Like in the beginning, it was hard. It was really hard to get to these new countries and meet people. And so what we were talking about was every community is different. So you would go from like a skydiver group to a paragliding group. And then the paragliders would call the homies who base jump, or they would call somebody who has a helicopter, or call somebody called a hot air balloon. So when it started off as this, we didn't really understand this, but it was going to take us like 4 weeks, because every, air sport is its own community. So you have to dedicate certain time to getting to know them, to setting something up. So now we're on this world trip where we don't care how long it takes us. And I tell people like, this is a 20-year project and they're like, okay, what are you going to do afterwards? And I'm like, what do you mean, motherfuckers? What am I going to do afterwards? Like, I'm good. Like, check, did that shit. Like I just saw the world from, a point of view that, so internally, secretly, I also have this mission to break down in every country of the world. So like we are broke down, right? Yeah, fuck, man. We're broke down right now, sitting at a climbing gym. We've been here for like 3 days. Actually, we got kicked out of a campground yesterday. I had to coast the van down to a dirt spot so that we could camp next to the climbing gym, because we have a membership here for the month and they have free showers and we can go hang out there every day. That's real life. And well, we got disconnected because of fucking Zoom. Actually talking with this guy, Harold, if people who do follow us know that we were in Morocco in this van and we actually blew this motherfucking motor up, right? Because like I am full send. I grew up in the dunes. I grew up in Glamis. So like when we hit sand, like, when in doubt, gas out. That's the rule. So I blew up this motor. And at the same time, I can't make this shit up, man. Like we are trying to, like, the word influencers is so gay. We hate that terminology. But we are like social network influencers, right? So we had just got this deal with a Trip Scout. So our database went from like 80,000 followers to 36 million. And we got this deal where we were going to be at a 5-star hotel, like where the princes and kings of Morocco go. So all of a sudden, we're like, I can hear the bearing. I think it's like probably the bearing on the cam starting to go. And we're like coasting into this place. It's rattling. We're at like it's $2,500 a night fucking palace, like jacuzzis in the room, like, you know, electric blinds and our own butler and all this shit, right? And we're just like losing our fucking. We're sitting there eating chocolate covered strawberries with champagne and this jacuzzi, and we're like, yo, we're fucking broke. Like what are we gonna do, right? Like it's like. I can't even tell people, like, you know, like shit was so fucked up. We didn't even want to post that we were in this hotel because we're like dirt poor, dirt bags, you know, just trying to follow this dream. We're staying at like this $10,000 worth of fucking hotel.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like it's insanity. And we leave the next day, the fucking motor blows up. Like, okay, hold on. It didn't blow up. First, I went to a mechanic, and the fucking terrible mechanics in Morocco. And it's making this knocking sound. And I'm like, look, like, and I'm talking to him, and I can hear it. I'm putting, like, you know, you put the old fucking extension, a piece of metal to the motor, and you're like listening for where things are fucking rattling. And I'm a good mechanic, guys. That's how I kept this whole shit show on the road. Like, I fucking can fix anything, right? Redneck ingenuity. I fucking fix anything with duct tape. So, fuck, we pull. Sandra finds this 4-wheel drive shop, and we pull in. And so what do they do? They disconnect. So the problem was one of the belts. There's your main, you know, like where you're fucking. Here I am saying I'm a good mechanic. I can't remember the name of things. Essentially, one of the pulleys was having a problem, and we had welded it, but you can't weld it because it set it offset it now, so it was fucking making noise. So basically, we had to put a new pulley on, and it was still making this sound. We pull in the shop, they take the belt off, and they're fucking revving the engine. I'm like, what are these assholes doing? And sure enough, fucking blew it. You heard it throw a rod. Boom, motherfuckers. And we're okay. We're in this Moroccan. We're broke down. We have like zero money in our accounts, and these motherfuckers just blew up my motor. And they have the audacity, like 20 minutes later, to come out and say, "Here's a bill for $5,500. You either agree to pay it now, or you have to leave our shop." It's like closing time, and then It's Friday, and I'm like, "Wait, what, motherfuckers?" So one of the guys, imagine I'm just like, I'm devastated, but I'm being quiet because I'm ready to strangle this motherfucker. And I'm like, I don't have $5,000. So, you know, like, I don't know what you help me. So we're like, luckily I had my buddy George. I had my partner Vasil with me. So I had my crew with us, and they're like, no, like, we know we can get a used motor for like fucking $2,500. You know, like, this isn't rocket science. It's like a 10-hour job to pull out the motor and put a new one in. But these guys are trying to charge us like an arm and leg. Is that they know they're holding us hostage. We can't even argue the fact that they blew this thing up. So Vasil's like, look, man, you've got a huge following now. He goes, go put a GoFundMe out there. I'm like, man, we can't do that. Like, it would be the backlash will be terrible, because here we are, like, traveling the world. Like, people do not want to help fucking, like, just pay for us to go, you know, to travel the world, and we should go get a job and all this.
Sure.
But what the fuck else are we going to do?
Right.
So we do. So we make a GoFundMe, and I'm very blunt in it. I'm like, look, I blew up this motor. If you guys like what we're doing, you like the content we're putting out, we need to get them a new motor and get the show back on the road.
Right.
And man, I have not ever had such backlash. It was like the weirdest shit in the world. Like, I had 1,000 people on commenting, like, how dare you go get a job, go back to America, go work, do this. I'm like, so that's what they offered you to give up on your dreams. I'm like, I've come this far. You guys have no idea who the fuck I am. I've come this far. I've done this much shit. You think because of a couple of grand, or because I have to get down on my knees and ask for money, that I'm going to fucking give up?
Sure.
Fuck you. So I have an amazing fan base. We raised like $5,000 in like fucking almost 3 days. Right?
Wow.
Yeah. So it sparked a whole new mentality. And at the same time, we're like, so we get a new motor and we get back to Europe. I'm like, look, we're broke. Like, obviously it's not sustainable. We got enough money to get the motor to get back. So I go back to America after 4.5 years. I left. And I remember I didn't go home. I haven't seen my family. I haven't seen my friends, nobody. I go back to America. I put our property for sale. I sell my dirt bikes. I sell everything. It was all just sitting in all of our production equipment. I had everything just sitting there, but I refused to go back, because any moment that I was dealing with that, I wasn't focusing on what I wanted, that I needed to do, but real life had finally kicked in and kicked me in the nuts.
Sure.
So I'm a humble guy, whatever. I don't care. So I went back, sold a bunch of shit, and paid off our credit cards. We were fucked. And so I paid all the credit cards off, and I was like, look, we have enough money to pay this for the next couple months. Let's focus on like what we're going to do. We keep making videos. And then, because I was in America, monetization kicked in for our videos, and we made like $800 while I was there, and we were like, what the fuck? So long story short, we figured out how to use a proxy computer. So we basically have a slave. So basically, I have a computer at my parents' house set up that I had to log on to my personal Facebook. My uncle had to log into my Instagram and my Facebook on his cell phone, and I had to have a slave computer that we had at my dad's house. So for like the last 4 months, we've been making about 4,000 to 5,000 per month from social networks from what we've been doing, right? No, really, yeah, it's fucking wicked. So the money that we had left from selling things in America, we haven't had to touch that. And I think it was last month, after 4.5 years, we finally made more money than we've spent by like $800.
Nice.
So people out there, like, they're like overnight success or this is easy. Like, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, I've been all in on this shit for years.
Well, that's the thing, right? People think it's an overnight success, but that's because they haven't seen all the shit that went on during the day to fucking get there.
Right?
You know,
and they don't want to. But that's the reality, that they don't want to. And most channels, I feel very fortunate for our fan base. You know, we're almost at 350,000 now, and our audience knows that there ain't no motherfucking ass shaking. There ain't gonna be no fucking titties. There ain't gonna be no fucking fake, Instagram bullshit. You come to our fucking channel, you're getting real life. You're getting real life fucking problems, and we're gonna talk about prison. We're gonna talk about addiction. We're gonna talk about the struggles that we're going through to make this shit happen. And that's what we are most proud of, is that we've somehow made a living.
Sure.
Like, you know what I mean? So
you must have seen it, especially because of the side that you're on. I mean, we live in a fucking world where social media is all about making yourself look as cool as possible and as flawless as possible. And we all know that that's not the case. There is no flawless human being, and life sometimes absolutely fucking sucks. And I think people are finally getting sick of seeing the airbrushed world, and they're wanting to see the real thing, right? I mean, they want to see what's actually going on out there, especially because there's a lot of people that, for either lack of drive or lack of ability, aren't able to do the things that you guys are doing, and they want to see what it's really like. I don't want candy coated shit. I want the real deal. I want to see the dirty, nasty stuff just as much as I want to see the amazing stuff, because, and I'm sure you know this because you're living it, the amazing stuff is amazing because of the shit you got to go through to get there.
Yeah. You know, what's ironic is the amazing shit is actually the journey there.
Yeah.
Right. So I tell people, you know, like, we're getting an alpinism base. Like, I feel that I'm taking the sports to another level. I'm mixing alpinists with, wingsuiting, and I'm stepping up my game, and we're working on, Pakistan, going there and doing 6,000 meter, jumps. And we're really, I took the athleticism serious, and we took the wingsuiting and the climbing and all that serious. But you got to remember, like, even the dopest wingsuit base jumps are only 60 seconds. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, they're longer than my sex life, but fucking, hey, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's way more foreplay in alpinists there than there is. And so the point being is that, like, people are reaching out to us, and they're like, we want to know, how did you get there? Like, tell us a story of how you got, like, the research. Like, how do you find these jumps? So I'm even like, even more blessed, because I'm not making a living from posting wingsuit videos. Like, people like it, and it's like sex candy, like, it's good, it sells for sure. But we've actually made a video from our dogs and Sandra and I, and being average, ordinary people who are doing extraordinary things. And what we're trying to tell people, I had a nonprofit, Just Care More, and I worked with foster kids, and that was my dream originally, to have a camp to be able to host kids like me, fucked in the head, and I wanted to to work with them, and I did it, and I hosted a camp. I like working with kids, but it's because of political bullshit, because of the way the communities are. I can't handle it.
Sure.
You're talking about a machine that's designed to. It's a corporation. Look, human trafficking is a corporation. I'm not getting into all that bullshit right now. But at the end of the day, there's money in foster kids, and I can't change a system that's designed to fucking put money in fucking politicians' pockets. That's the reality of that bullshit. So we're not gonna get into that. So I had to figure out another way. And the ironic part is if you try to, I've learned, because of my addiction, because of prison, because of all the therapists, fucking all this bullshit, I've always learned that if you try to tell people how to live, or what they should do, they disregard what you're saying, right? You know, and when you have a family member, your dad's like, you know, they're trying to give you good advice, but you do it anyways, right? Because you have to experience these things for yourself. I've always thought that it was better to show people how I do it and show the truth of how I have done it and how I'm going to continue doing it. And if they find inspiration from that, I'm winning because I'm living my best version of myself and others are learning from that.
Sure.
And that's kind of where Jess Caramore has evolved into. We get like, it's weird, right? We get like 10 to 20 messages a day of people overcoming addiction, suicide, you know, abuse, whatever the fucking problems are. And I like to talk to these people, and that's my therapy. So you got to remember, I'm still fucked in the head.
Sure.
And, you know, I'm not going to go sit in a therapist room because they're fucking, you know, I'm not going to deal with it. So I had to figure out how to deal with it. So for me, it's the quiet of the mountains. It's my dogs. It's the road trip. It's the rumble of the fucking van in my ears. It's the breaking down. It's the consistent fucking drama, the problems that I find my relief of stress in now.
Sure.
And then I get to talk to people. And they're having problems. They're overcoming addiction. They're on you know, fentanyl is killing motherfuckers right now.
Yeah.
Like I'm grateful that wasn't a drug. Like I'm a tweaker, so like I'll stick a needle in my arm and shoot dope and go out and fucking rob people and do, you know, hood rat shit. But at the end of the day, these motherfuckers are doing fentanyl and they're fucking dying,
Sure.
like left and right. And I'm grateful that I missed that fucking that generation. So I've had literally like one of the kids at my camp overdosed from fentanyl. His mom reached out and was like, look, literally your camp that's all he ever talked about. He saw what you were doing and that's what he wanted, but the drugs are stronger. So that's what we're battling. You know, Sandra is an alcoholic. I'm a drug addict. Like my nemesis is cocaine. I stopped doing meth. I've only done meth. We're being completely honest. It was Burning Man. I shot meth for the one time. I've done meth one time. No, I've done meth a couple times. That's a lie. It was most of my brother's birthday, 21st birthday. It doesn't matter. Different story. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But you know what I mean? Listen, shit was rowdy. Okay.
Sure.
And but I love cocaine. And that's the problem with skydiving. It was so fucking easy at all these boogies to do Molly and cocaine and all this bullshit, right? So that's part of the reason I had to get out of the sport because it was just so easy to get to, and I can't say no. I'm a weak motherfucker. I don't know what to tell you. So that's kind of why I think that we're on the run, not from ourselves or anything like that, or from past or crimes or anything like that. But I have to keep moving to stay away from the same group of people because if I get comfortable around people and people start partying, I can't hang around them and say no for very long.
Sure.
But if I keep moving, if I keep jumping, if I keep training, if I keep finding things that are bigger than the drugs, you know, I've been around some Aussies base jumping and they're fucking doing cocaine in front of me. And they're like, "Hey, mate, you want to blow? And I'm like, yes, I do. But no, I'm leaving. Bye. And I just got up and walked away. Right. Because I know if I sit there, I'm going to fucking do a line.
Yeah.
And we all know what happens to Captain Manicorn when he does cocaine. I fucking burn shit down. It's not a good thing. So everything's going good in my life right now.
I mean, honestly, though, it doesn't matter how you manage to work around it as long as you do. If avoiding it and getting out and jumping and going for broke and doing all the other things that you're doing keeps you from doing that kind of stuff, then that's fucking working. So who cares how you do it as long as it's working for you?
That's the kind of the whole point of what we're dealing with right now. So
yeah, man.
We're progressing. It's not, we don't know the answers. We don't know. I don't have a, you know, I tell Sandra, like, we're going to hit 1 million followers. I'm not going to put out a fucking guidebook how we got here. Cause you know, I don't fucking know, man.
Sure.
And I don't know where we're going next. And I'm not here to tell people how they should live their lives. I'm just showing people with our channel what works for us. And what works for us is just keep it real. Like, you know, like just keep it real.
I think we're finally hitting a time and a place in the world where people doing what you guys are doing and showing that there are alternatives to the 9 to 5 or much worse, 60-hour a week work week to try and, get the BMW in the fucking 2-car garage. It doesn't have to be that way. If that's what you want, go for it. But there are other options. And if people get nothing else from the stuff that you guys are doing than the fact that there are other ways, then that's all you need, right? You just show them, hey, there are other options. Pick your own fucking path.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's what we're talking about, right? We're escaping the matrix. I don't know what it is to everybody, but essentially, I came up with this philosophy in my head. I don't know how much time we've got, but I know we're getting there. Essentially, look, I'm gonna go all in on my dream because if I can do what I want, I'm very fortunate now. I don't have a lot of money. We're still figuring it all out, but I wake up to tomorrow and I'm gonna go base jump. I don't have to do anything else. I'm gonna go base jump. I'm gonna record some cool stuff. I'm gonna work with my wife on some stuff. We're gonna work on some videos, but I'm gonna do exactly what I want, and I'm gonna get paid for that not just tomorrow, but the next day and the next day. So if you're gonna struggle to make money, why not figure out what it is your dream is and struggle along that route? So the advantage to our dream is that if we can cover the bills essentially to what we're doing, then that keeps paying for gas, it keeps paying for food, because my bills aren't a house, my bills aren't fucking expensive cars, my bills aren't those different things that you have living in a residential area. Everything that we make, it's just an expense towards the next months of adventures. So that's the advantage. So we came up with this. I came up with this theory. It's like my 5 steps to success, right? Like the first thing is research. So yeah, I like philosophy as well. Like you drive anything for 10 hours a day, drive around the world, you think a lot, trust me, but we're going to leave that for another day. But essentially, here's the deal. Look, I'll leave you with this. People don't take enough time to research what their dreams are. Like they don't really think about it. In school, they used to tell you, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? That was the only time that anybody ever gave you an opportunity to express what you truly wanted to do. You're like, I want to be a firefighter. And mostly likely what your dad did or what you saw on TV, it was like, I want to be this, right? But then at some point they stop asking you that. So you stop thinking about what you can do because you have to go to college, you have to get a job, you have to do all these other things, right? So they suppress this imagination. Okay, so the first thing I say that people have to do is research. Like, what is it that you've always wanted to do? Dig deep. Like, go through the process. Research it. Is it, like, is it really what you want to do? Like, I want to do alpine wingsuiting. Okay, whatever that means to you guys, whatever. To me, that's my goal right now. I want to do alpine wingsuiting. So the second part is you have to commit to it, right? So you say, I want to do alpine wingsuiting. So you have to tell yourself this. Like, this is the part that's the hardest thing. I'm going to commit to that. What does that mean? Commit to you? It means I need to make a plan. Step 3. What is the plan to get to this goal? What are the fucking steps, right? Because if you researched it and you really use your dream and you're really your goal, like anything in life, you're going to create a business plan, right? Luckily, I had made $1 million. I've spent $1 million. I've lost $1 million. I've snorted $1 million, right? Let's get on past that. The point being is I fucking know how to run a business. So I created a business, okay? A business plan. This is how I'm going to get there. The fourth thing is execution. Why do you have to execute this plan? Because you have to build you have to build a baseline. Like any stock, any investment, it has a trend, right? Whether it's going up or down, whatever it does, no matter what, you can't stop this trend. Just like the stock market, it's going to go every day. If the ticker's going to go up or the ticker's going to go down. And if you watch it and you study it and you analyze it, whether it's your health, whether it's your fucking family, whether it's your mental health, whether it's your friendships, your wife, whatever it is, this is all part of that fucking trend, right? And if you can get that trend to trend up, regardless of the dips, regardless of the corrections, regardless of all that bullshit, if you can keep getting it going up, you're going to start seeing what the trend is. And you're going to figure out, okay, this worked, this didn't work. If I want to keep this trend going up, I need to do more of this. So that's the fourth one. And eventually, like anything else, if you stick with it through thick and thin, you will reach your goal. That's a fact, right? Luck is a huge part of it. A good network is a big part of it. And fucking, I wake up at 4:30, 5 o'clock every fucking day. Fuck you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Sandra's looking at me. All right, 5:30 sometimes. She makes the coffee. I'm getting an evil look right now. Okay, so she gets up at 4:55. I get up about 5:15 after. I'm like this when I wake up. Coffee. That's how we get up, and that's real life. All right, I can't bullshit. So that's what we do that nobody knows about. Like, you see me jump off a mountain. I've been up for 8 hours before that because I already had to get a full day of work in before I went out and played.
Sure.
So here's the kicker. Step 5. This took me 4 years to figure out this step, and I don't ever hear anybody talking about it. I call it the reset button. It's okay if you reach your goal and you realize that's not what you wanted. It's not what you thought it was. It doesn't make you happy. It's, the fucking house doesn't make you happy. That woman doesn't make you happy. The car doesn't make you happy. That job doesn't make you happy. It's okay to say that, to hit the reset button and start the whole process over.
Hell yeah.
And it's okay to spend this. It's okay to spend the rest of your life doing that.
Hell yeah.
If that's what it takes for you to find happiness. Because at the end of the day, the goal is only momentary. The success is only momentary, but the process can last you the rest of your life.
Oh, no doubt.
That's what we represent at Captain Manicorn. That's what I try to do every day. I'm at step 4 right now. I'm deep in the middle of fucking figuring this out, trying to make a living from what we're doing. And if, and in 5 years, if I don't like this, I'll do something else.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm fucking loving it, guys. I'm fucking loving it.
Well, and that's what made me approach you in the first place, because that comes through quite clearly with everything that you guys are doing, that you're absolutely loving the journey that you're having, which is fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
So now, because you're going to be able to tell this so much better, showing what you guys have been up to. So how do people follow you on social media? What's the channel that they're going to go to get the nitty gritty, all the stuff that we haven't had time to talk about?
Yeah. So the details are, you just type in whatever social network it is you like. You type in Captain Manicorn. It's, like just remember, like a unicorn, but with a dick. I'm a manicorn, man. And this is Captain Manicorn. And the reality is we do have a Patreon as well, where we have, so we keep getting banned. We kept getting banned on social networks. They kept trying to take my account down because we show some rowdy shit. So we had to create, just random, crazy shit. So basically there's a lot of sensitive motherfuckers out there and this cancel culture bullshit. So we had to create a Patreon where we could show this not X-rated, it's not fucking porn, but you understand what I'm saying? Like there's rowdy shit there. So we do have a Patreon and there's awesome stuff over there, but we don't care. We don't it would take 1,000 people signed up at $5 a fucking person to make 5,000 a month. Sure. But we're crushing it right now on Facebook. So we would if you guys have Facebook, go to Facebook, hit the follow on Captain Manicorn, watch the videos, comment on the videos, engage, message me. I answer every morning. I spend 2 hours. That's what I do. I wake up in the morning. I spend 2 hours engaging with everybody. Comment all the I go through all the comments and I go through all the messages every morning. So get on Facebook, leave us a message, watch the videos, share the fucking videos, give us feedback, tell us you don't like us, whatever it is you don't want. Because even the negative comments, we still get paid for.
Yep.
Hey.
I love it.
Keep it real, right?
Hell yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Dude, awesome. It's been fantastic talking to you. I know we've had trouble setting it up because you guys are bouncing around all over the place, loving life, and I'm really glad that we finally got to get it done.
Thank you. You're a lunatic, man. This is a great podcast. I had a great time just letting loose on here. I feel like it was fun. Yeah,
I have not talked this little on any podcast ever. This is a treat for me, and especially for all my listeners, because they're like, thank fuck we don't have to hear from this guy anymore.
Oh, well, but that's great. Anytime that you want to do that, remember, I'm egotistical and I love the sound of my own voice. So anytime you need a break.
Perfect, dude. Thanks again, brother.
Love it. Thank you.
Take care. Well, there you have it. Another episode of the Lunatic Fringe podcast, brought to you as always by, not as always, actually. Brought to you now by Gyro. Formerly known as NZ Aerosports, you'll head to gyro.com for their next level line of canopies. By Pussfoot, the Extreme Sports Collective. Head over to pussfoot.com to check it out. By Summit Parachute Systems, check out summitparachutesystems.com to talk to Jarrett Martin and the gang about kick-ass pilot rigs, rigging courses, and more. By Flyaway Indoor Skydiving, go to flyawaytn.com and check out all the cutting-edge stuff to come. By Pure Spectrum CBD, head to purespectrumcbd.com to check out their wide range of CBD products. And as for us, head to the lunaticfringepodcast.com to listen to any of the hundreds of episodes currently available, hit the link for our YouTube channel, pick up your copy of the Lunatic Fringe book or The Accidental Stripper, and get a sneak peek at upcoming guests. Once again, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.